Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So about 2 weeks ago we created this release here, this latest release for the version 3 of this Nuxt UIkit module, and I'm just getting a chance to talk about it, and it's been something that I've wanted to talk about from the point of releasing, because it's actually a very significant release that we've done. Just haven't really gotten the time to do so until now. But I actually want to start off from the version 3.1.0 pre-release that was made, because this is where the significant changes would have been made. Uh, the following patch releases would have actually been just some minor updates that were added to either the documentation or just fixing minor issues during the release. Now, the significant enhancement, which is pretty much just one, is the actual usage of local UI kit files. And this is actually in particular JavaScript files for framework itself and the icons. So effectively what we want to happen, or what we want to happen, or the problem that we're trying to solve, is that the icons would not load fast enough, and it's something that what we wanted to happen with this module, because it was the issue that we were trying to solve initially while we actually started to build out this application. Now, what would have occurred was that we were reaching out to a CDN for this information. Unfortunately, that wasn't necessarily as fast as we would have hoped, essentially. So when we look at the differences and how we could actually improve the page speed, we noticed that we needed to do something about that. In addition, some of the development that I was doing in particular was offline, and as such, I was not able to see the icons. So I decided that definitely we have to remove this limitation where it's slow, the load time is a little bit slower, and in addition to the fact that I would not be able to see the icons. So this would be a problem for persons who probably have a slower internet connection. They would have to wait a longer time for the page to load. In addition to those who would be working offline, for example, when we're working with a PWA, then that would be a potential issue, because obviously you have to reach out to the CDN server to actually get the JavaScript or the information that we need. So what we've decided to do is actually use the local UIKit files coming right from the installation of the package or the dependency, essentially, and use that, which was probably the best way of handling this here, and it just made the module, I would say, even 10x fast. I didn't really do much benchmarks, but what I'm gonna do here is actually, or what I have here is two installation, or two projects here. So what we have is the one with the previous release, so the version 3.0.11, and this has that version installed there. I also have the latest release here, which would now have the updates that are being referenced, and we will see the differences that are in the page load time. So what we're going to do is actually just look at the page loading differences with with both of these, and see how much it actually improves the page speed of your Nuxt project. So what I've actually noticed is that with the recording on, it actually makes it, while the difference is significant, it slows it down a bit. What I'm gonna do is actually stop the recording, actually do screenshots of these side by side, and you can see the difference. So you can see here, what I have are three screenshots of the loading speeds that we've gotten with the version 3.0.11. For the initial load time, what we got was 253 milliseconds, which is pretty fast. But with the caching that was enabled, it was reduced to 126 milliseconds, which is even much faster. But then something I guess may have happened and it went up to 129, but I guess that's just some minor latency difference. But you can see that even with version 3.0.11, it was significantly fast. So we can now look at what performance difference we will get from version 3.1.2. I want to also note that these are actually being run in private mode, and they're also running on different ports. The other one would have been, previous one would have been closed now, and then we're just moving on with the version 3.1.2 now. Alright, so for the initial loading, what we got was 210 milliseconds, which is extremely faster than what we got with the 250 something from the previous one. And for the second, or the refresh that was done, what we got was 126, which is even much faster because we get a little bit of caching there from the network. And we saw the same thing that occurred previously, where on the third refresh, or this was kind of a hard refresh where we hit the page or restart everything, it was 129 milliseconds. The differences, they are significant, but I think the more important significance is going to be when it comes on to looking at it from the end user's perspective, how much data they will have to be downloading, how fast it will load for them. In addition to the network speed or that they have, because if I now do this was a fourth refresh, you'll notice that this would have changed also to give us a different representation. This is 137 milliseconds, and that was pretty fast, just the same. But you can see that things can change with the amount of processing that is happening and the machine that is doing these. But it's still much faster than what we had before, and we won't have the issue of, if for argument's sake I turn my internet off, let's say no, I just turn my internet off, if I refresh this, it is not going to give us any issue. It took a longer time, you'll notice, with the memory and stuff, because this is version 3.1.2. If I stop this and go over here and actually run this one, if I go ahead here and just change this to this one, you'll notice that we are now not seeing the icon that was previously there, and that's because it was not able to get the JavaScript from the CDN. So if we're working on an offline setting, PWA or whatever, to be working offline, then that might be problematic. So that's just a significant improvement. So you can go ahead now and make your Nuxt app much faster by installing the latest version of the Nuxt UIkit module. So you can go ahead and get that by going to nuxt.uikit.fedora.com and doing the installation that is required of you. Or you can, if you already have it installed, you can just do an npm add or upgrade to the package. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.